Explaining Milsim. Obviously, I said I'd get around to making one of these about Milsim, as last time I explained Speedsoft. There's really no need to recap on any of that because nobody really cares. So, as you all know what Speedsoft is, let's jump into Milsim. Milsim is effectively a more realistic version of Airsoft. It's you dress up like soldiers, pretend to be soldiers, you play like soldiers. That's what it boils down to. Milsim itself stands for military simulation. It's kind of in the name. Milsim is the polar opposite of Speedsoft. In Speedsoft, your objective is to rush the field, get kills, don't play the objective. In Milsim, it's to play very slowly, very realistically, and only play the objective, in some cases. Milsim itself, after playing a few times with it, I actually have a bit of experience with this one, more so than Speedsoft. It is very fun, but it has its downsides. The fun part about it is you get a very realistic taste, or at least close to what soldiers are like in some cases. The downsides is that it can be very boring. It's very realistic, and likely that in playing a Milsim, as fun as it is, where you get to be a medic in a heroic situation, lots of nades and whatnot, what happens more often than not is you get shot halfway across the map, don't even know where from, you sit down, you wait for your bleed out, and then you take your 20-minute walk back to respawn. Respawning is probably the worst part of Milsim, where when you get shot, you're supposed to go down and bleed out. It's like a COD revive. You wait for a minute, and if a medic can come to you and put a bandage on you, you're alright. Obviously, this rule varies, but I'm not going to go into the rules of Milsim because no one cares. But if you bleed out, in most cases, you have to walk back to a respawn, which, since Milsims take place on such massive fields, is like sometimes a 20-minute walk. The one I played on was like, I think it was only 5 or 10, but it was still a pain in the butt to get to. Now, don't get me wrong, again, Milsim is very, very fun. It's realistic, and it's slow at times, but it's incredibly fun, especially how intense some things are. In some fields, they will even have real guns shooting off blank rounds to simulate real gunshots going off as if it's a real war zone. You meet incredible people there that are major enthusiasts of the sport, so you always meet really nice people there. It's always a load of fun, but there are a lot more rules. There's rules on how much you can carry with you, plus you have to carry all that anyways with like a sleeping bag and whatnot sometimes, kind of depending on how long or how serious it is. And again, it's very, very fun. I've always had a lot of fun playing with them, but it's just, as fun as it is, that whole downside of respawning, and there's a lot of FPS caps, especially for depending on the Milsim you go to, they'll only have class systems where a sniper is only allowed to carry like a certain amount of magazines, only one sidearm, or a medic is only allowed to have an SMG, and a rifleman is only allowed to have 4 or 5 mags on them. It can be kind of a pain. It's a lot more strict, but it is a ton of fun to play at. And if you ever get the chance, don't, because it takes a lot of experience to get to. And that's about it. See ya.